Welcome to episode 71 on the Air Hug Community Podcast. Hello and welcome. My name is Judy and I am the host of the Air Hug Community Podcast. And if you're new here, let me just tell you what we're all about. We are a community that believes supporting each other can be wonderful and it helps improve the lives of others as well as our life. We believe in living well, and that includes physical fitness, eating well, but also mental fitness. We believe that movement should be fun and that eating to live better should also be fun and delicious. We have conversations and stories from guests and myself that are often inspired by the thousands of conversations I've had one-on-one with working with women over the last dozen years, but also with conversations with several of my besties with our one-on-one walks that we love to take together. So have a listen, and I'm really glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining in. Hello, Team Air Hug Community. I'm happy to be back, and I hope you're happy to be back too. This is our second to the last episode for the year 2021, and what a year it's been. I know when we started 2021, we really thought we would be probably not where we are now. At least I didn't think that we would be where we are now as far as the state of the pandemic going on in the world. But it is what it is, and we are just going to keep continuing. So today, I want to talk about starting over. And I think, we've got 10 days left in the year at this point in time. And wow, I never realized that. 10 days left in the year. Because today happens to be a special day. Today is my birthday, and I'm kind of excited to be recording this. So at the time of this publishing, it will be my birthday. I'm recording this obviously a couple days ahead, but I'm kind of getting in the birthday spirit. But I never really realized that my birthday was within the last 10 days of the year. I always just thought of it as 4 days before Christmas. But anyways, this is that time of year where we start to get reflective, probably starting on the 26th of December for a lot of people, where we're in that limbo week. And we think about starting over. And especially after the holiday indulgence season, I'm going to probably relate most of this talk to healthy habits, because it's, I think, where we're headed here. But it could be financial habits, it could be career habits, it could be work productivity. You could apply it to however you want to apply it. But the big point here is that you don't need a new day to start over. We have all sorts of trials and decisions every single day, and a lot of times we get it wrong. And I know when people are on a journey to try and eat better and change their behavior, if they ruin it at some point in the day, they usually just figure it's the what the hell effect, and they'll have to wait till another day, either Monday or tomorrow or January 1st to start. But I'm here to tell you that it really doesn't work that way. You don't really need a new day to start over. What you really need is a new mindset. And it doesn't have to be like a big 5-week course where you change your mindset. No, you can blink your eyes and change your mindset and decide again that you can do these things. What you have to do is realize this, that the hardest thing in the world is to fail and fail again and stay motivated. But because it's such a huge pain point, right? A lot of times you get disgusted with yourself or whatever. But here's the thing, that's human nature. Not everything we're going to do is going to turn out right? Change is not linear. Success is not linear in anything that you're trying to do. And so it's a huge pain point. But the people who can maintain motivation in the face of repeated failure are the people who are going to realize some form of success. And is that easy? No. But is it simple? Maybe not. It does boil down to you deciding that you can do it. It's your choice. right? It is something that you actually can control, and it gets down to your beliefs. So you have to think about what really matters most to you. What is it? What kind of success is going to make you happy? And then let's say you've blown it at lunch, whatever. Maybe you had a holiday lunch. Maybe you were just feeling stressed and you went to the vending machine, or maybe you were just feeling stressed and stopped at Starbucks on the way home and had one of those giant size beautiful coffee drinks or whatever. I don't know. Whatever it is. The very next meal you can get on track, because the very next meal you have the opportunity to say to yourself, what matters most to me? What should I do? What can I do to get closer to my goal? Another way to say this is, what is the next right thing that I can do? So you can manage your mindset in tiny little blocks. And actually, sometimes it's so much easier to do it that way than to think of the big picture, to think, oh, I've blown it, it's ruined now, and I'm just going to have to wait, versus, okay, what can I do now just to make it better? And here's one thing, a little aside, that we should definitely not do is do not punish yourself by skipping a meal or becoming extremely rigid for the next few meals, because it's just going to set you up again for another overeating event. If we're talking about overeating here, that's the example I'm going to go with here. Just get back on the right way to do things, not penance. There's no punishment. We don't reward and punish with food, okay? And that's a big thing. And food is not good or bad, right? It's morally neutral, I like to say. Food is not, you are not in a relationship with food. Food does not love you back. Food just gives you nourishment and energy. So be that as it may. Let's move on, all right? Because all of this is really connected to happiness and how you choose your happiness, all right? Because happiness doesn't come to you, it comes from you. So it comes to you when you create it, and you have to have the mindset to create it, right? And that's how you do the next right thing and you get on a path to success. And no, you're not going to see results right away, but you might take on the mindset that you're happy that you had one meal that was in alignment with the behaviors that you know are going to serve you best. And then maybe you had another meal, and maybe between those meals you had only sips of water and didn't even think about snacking or binging or whatever. Those are the things that you can, first of all, see them as successes and see them as within your control, something that you have changed your mindset around. So a big part of this, right, another way for saying this actually, is that you're taking responsibility for making your own success. And there's a lot more within our control than what we think about. So the truth is that we actually are in control of a lot more than what we think we are in control of. And so I love to talk about the Serenity Prayer, which is basically having grace to know the difference between what you can and cannot control. But I dare say we can control a lot more than what we think. And it all starts with effort and attitude. Because when it gets down to it, you can control a lot with your effort and attitude, a lot more than you thought. And that leaves zero room for excuses. Because when you own it, then it's up to you. And so it's all in your hands. You really do have the ability to make these changes. All right? So let's talk about experience, right? Because experience, you've all heard this quote, is what you get when you didn't get what you wanted, right? Experience is what you get when you experience a failure, right? And that's okay. Think about this. In order to love who you are, you can't hate the experiences that shaped you. And who are we? But we're the product of a lot of experiences. So some were failures, some were successes, but all of those together have gotten us to where we are today. And it is those experiences, good, bad, or ugly, that actually have shaped who you are today. And that's a huge thing, right? It's a really huge thing. So here's the mindset shift that I want you to think about. Think about, can you embrace this? It's believing that success is your only option, right? Life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. So I probably should have started this story at the beginning, but I'll start it now. And this is a little bit of a painful story for me because I did not expect to have this failure. So I'm going to back up to 2013. I am 52 years old when I start this journey, but I'm getting ready. Was I still 52? I can't remember, 52 or 53. I decide to enter my first bodybuilding show, and I'm going to do figure. So I'm going through, I have a nutrition coach, and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to doing. I am not faltering from the plan. I am sticking to the plan, and I am telling myself this is the way to do it. And now, first of all, I will go back and say I didn't always agree with it, but because I paid for it and I invested in it emotionally and financially, I followed through with it. However, I did get very good results. I would say excellent results. And I got on stage at that show, of which I was the oldest competitor. And in the open category for figure, I knew that I nailed it. I mean, I knew that I did everything right. And while I was resting between the day show and the finals at night, my phone rang, and my husband grabbed my phone, and he didn't want me to hear it because he wanted me to rest with my eyes closed. And he picked it up and answered it, and it was my coach. And my coach said, they're going to put Judy in last place because they think that she's using drugs. My husband just started laughing. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, oh no, they think she's using performance-enhancing banned substances, and so we can't possibly slate her as the winner. And he just started laughing. He goes, well, don't you do a urine test? Test her urine. And they didn't. They chose to just make that assumption. And by the way, I've been a natural athlete my whole life, and I have been urine tested in subsequent shows. But anyways, they put me in last place, and I knew I had the best physique out there. So what a blow to my ego that was. Talk about needing to start over. So I was like, you know, I'm changing my mindset. They're not going to defeat me. I'm going to go to another show with another federation that's a little bit more well-respected and a little bit more where they do urine testing. And it took me a few tries, but it was a year later that I went on stage in an organization that tests all athletes. And I did win that show, and I did get that pro card, and they did test my urine, obviously. And it just, you know, good things come to those who wait, and good things come to those who change their mindset, right? It's definitely a pivot. You have to be able to pivot. So I'm going to tell you another story. When I was all done with competing in 2016, I knew that I wanted to be healthy and lean, but not shredded, okay, because it's not sustainable. And I only knew how to really diet down to be shredded. I didn't know how to live to be moderately lean and healthy. And it took me a lot of series of failures in my mind. I mean, people wouldn't look at me and think I was a failure, but I was disgusted with myself because I would eat too much and then too little. I would measure my food. I would not measure my food. I was trying on all different behaviors to figure out how I was going to get into that life, that moderately lean, what most people would consider very lean physique that I wanted. I wanted to be healthy. I didn't want to worry about being so lean that I didn't have enough fat to maintain normal hormones, etc., and things like that. And I will say it took me 3 years. And during those 3 years, it was fail and fail again and get motivated again. Fail again, and get motivated again. And did I stay motivated all the time? No. But when I did get motivated in a healthy way, it finally came to me, and it was right about 2019. I would say about 6 or 8 months before COVID, which I'm so glad happened because it sent me into COVID with a little bit more of a stable mindset. And even during COVID, yeah, we enjoyed a little bit more wine and a little bit more food, but it didn't disgust me, and I was like, I can handle this, because the mindset work was there. And so what I'm trying to say is, I'm going to repeat this, the hardest thing in the world to do is to keep trying and fail repeatedly and stay motivated. And it's all between our ears. It's all the fact that life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by the fact that we decide it will, and that we actually have to be our own best motivator. Yeah, you can get guidance from whoever you need guidance from. Accountability is great, and learning to eat right for your body is maybe you need the help of a nutrition coach. That's fine. But ultimately, it's up to you. One of my clients put it really good. She's like, you can have all the best guidance in the world, but you have to decide to buy into it and believe that you're going to do it. And when things don't go your way, you have to reset your mindset, get back to it, and do it again. And so what I'm telling you is, you may have to reset your mindset 5 times a day. But if you get to that point where something goes wrong, don't throw your hands up at the air and quit, because remember your why. Remember what it is that you want, right? And I'm not just talking about fitting into jeans. Maybe you don't want to get diabetes. Maybe you don't want to put yourself at risk for Alzheimer's or stroke or heart disease. Or maybe you don't want to sit on the sidelines while your family goes hiking because you don't have the stamina. That's what I'm talking about, right? For me, it's all those things. I don't want to be the grandma who doesn't get on the floor and play with my kids, or who can't sit on the floor and stand up while I'm holding the babies. So that's what I'm talking about. Anyways, I wish you the next 10 days a wonderful finish to 2021. And when you look back on it, I want you to look back and think about what you learned. Maybe you had a lot of failures, maybe you had successes, but what did you do with that information, and how did you look at it in your brain? I know how I'm going to look at it. The big thing I'm going to look at it is that I'm very grateful and thankful and very much appreciate what I have in my life. Starting with, it sounds all sappy and corny, but I have the best husband in the world. Hands down, he's a good guy. We're human. It's not that we don't sometimes have conflict, this or there. I'm not going to get into that, obviously, but he's the best guy in the world. And I thank my lucky stars that I didn't let him get away when I was 16 years old. Ha ha ha. Anyways, listen, that's it for today. We have one more episode coming out next Tuesday in 2021. And I wish you a very happy holiday, however you celebrate, a very happy new year. And thank you, special listener, for tuning in today and for tuning in when you do. And please do me a favor, check back here every single Tuesday and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, because reviews are where it's at, baby. That's how people learn about podcasts on Apple. So, all right, ta-ta for now.